Okay, hold up. This is where things get spicy. The question wasn't if he'd fight Canelo, but if he'd throw hands with David Benavidez, aka the Mexican Monster. I mean, would you want to fight a guy with that nickname? Sound off in the comments. Who do you think wins that fantasy fight?
You want to fight Canelo? Would you ever entertain a fight with the Mexican Monster, David Benavidez? Would you want Canelo?
We're talking with PBC, and we'll be making fights with them.
Is part of Turkey Al Sheikh and the new is part of that prompting you guys to work together more when in the past you may not have.
That is correct.
Oh man, God, good morning, War Room. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about this morning. Hell, Ryan Garcia, he's back. He announced that he's back with Derrick James. We're going to talk about that. Also, Terrence Bud Crawford. You guys sent me this clip of, it was a short, but then I went to Pound for Pound with Henry Cejudo and Usman. Love you, boys. Where Terrence Crawford said that he wouldn't fight David Benavidez. He might as well go to heavyweight if you're going to fight him. We're going to talk about that.
Might as well go to heavyweight if I fight Benavidez.
Did y'all catch that? Crawford basically said fighting Benavidez is such a leap, you might as well jump up an entire weight class. That tells you how serious a threat Benavidez is. But also, is Crawford ducking? Or just being honest about weight realities? Let's talk. Comment below.
Yeah.
Also, on my live, for the William Zepeda versus Tevin Farmer live, you guys brought up Bob Arum. And when he was talking about Top Rank joining forces with the PBC. Love you, boys. To compete against His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh. We're going to talk about all that stuff. And honestly, you guys were the first ones to tell me about Ryan Garcia going back to Derrick James. And I didn't know for sure if that was the case, but you guys saw it before I did. That's why I love the War Room. Okay, so let's start off with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is back with Derrick James. There's a lot of questions, and I have answers. The reason why, we all know that Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez were both agreed to be trained by Eddie Reynoso, Team Canelo. And now, all of a sudden, Ryan Garcia is with Derrick James. Well, first he announced that he wasn't going to be with Eddie Reynoso, that he was going to be trained by his father. And then you hear Teofimo Lopez say the same thing, that he's no longer trained with Eddie Reynoso.
Pause. Let's appreciate the chess moves here. Eddie Reynoso. Choosing to solely focus on Canelo means Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez had to pivot. And that's not shade and that's strategic. But is loyalty fading in these top camps?
Now, I learned when I was collabing with DAZN, remember when Canelo Alvarez punched me in the stomach? I will never forget that. My stomach remembers that. I knew then why. Eddie Reynoso said that he was going to focus on Canelo Alvarez to be two-time undisputed at 168 in his fight against William Skull come May 3rd. The Canelo and William Skull fight is the next day after, May 2nd, the Times Square fight with Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez. There was no way he was going to juggle all three of them. Pause. That was it. Hold on, let me get my black two sugars. I haven't gotten my black two sugars in yet.
I love this part right here. Fathers in boxing knowing when to step back is a big deal. It's emotional, it's humbling, and it shows growth. Henry Garcia recognizing his limits? That's next level parenting and coaching.
Okay. Pause. But he wasn't going to train all three. So he focused, of course, on Canelo Alvarez. That he's his prize pupil. So Ryan Garcia was going to train with his father, Henry Garcia. What I do like is that Ryan Garcia, or first, shout out to Henry Garcia, for him to be like, listen, Ryan, you have grown beyond what I was teaching you when you were a kid. Okay, now, I love when fathers take that back seat. I remember when Bill Haney, love you, boy, did the exact same thing. Bill Haney training Devin was like, okay, he's outgrown, right? But by that time, firstborn arrow effect sunk in was already too established. But no, listen, I do remember Bill Haney saying that he needed help in his corner. And that's a great humbling moment there when you realize, you just cannot take your son to where he needs to reach. Now, so Henry Garcia and Ryan Garcia reaching back out to Derrick James, and Derrick James accepting that assignment. Listen, in the war room, we all agreed. It was a couple lives ago where we were like, Derrick James was his best trainer, was better for Ryan Garcia than Eddie Reynoso. And I mean, we thought about it, right? And it was like, yeah, I mean, his performances with Derrick James were better than the performances with Ryan Garcia. He had 2 fights with Derrick James, Oscar Duarte, which that was a huge, bro. Yeah, talking about a huge risk, low reward. Oscar Duarte, Ryan Garcia has said repeatedly that was the hardest he's ever been punched. Oscar is a problem, okay? Big kid, and Ryan Garcia put together the right game plan with Derrick James to beat him, okay? And he was a focused Ryan Garcia, but it was the first training camp with Derrick James, so there was a lot to learn, all right? End up flying the wisdom tooth of Duarte. First time we saw the silly shell, really. And that wasn't Derrick James, that was Ryan Garcia, but still.
And this is where great coaching shines. The leaning back habit could have been Ryan's undoing, but Derrick James came in like Mr. Miyagi with the fix. Boxing fans, how much credit do you give trainers when fighters evolve like this? Drop your thoughts.